Vanakkam, the South Indian is here. Homecoming. In Hindi, it's called Ghar Vapsi. And you and I know what kind of political connotations that term had. When you returned an award, people laughed and said, oh, Ghar Vapsi. When a particular community decided to go back to the original caste of their birth or religion of their birth, they said, oh, Ghar Vapsi. But I'm very happy that today, Ghar Vapsi or homecoming has a true meaning which will make all of us smile eternally. Come tomorrow, and it shall be a week since the attack launched by terror organization Hamas on Israel, in which nearly 1,300 people have lost their lives and more than 3,000 have been injured. Even as horrific stories of death and destruction emerge out of the war-ravaged region, India moved with much swiftness and launched Operation Ajay to bring back Indians who live and work in Israel and also students who are studying in several universities in the country. In a special chartered flight, 212 Indians touched down early this morning and were welcomed by Union Minister Rajiv Chandrasekhar, who said those two magical words which shall reverberate in their ears for a lifetime. Welcome home.
It's obviously a difficult time for all those people in Israel who've been dragged into this conflict, innocent people. As you know, today is the first flight of Operation Vijay, and this is completely in keeping with our Prime Minister's vision, Prime Minister's determination that our government, his government, will never leave any Indian behind. Any Indian anywhere in the world that finds himself or herself in harm's way, our government, our Prime Minister is determined to protect them, bring them back home safely. And I'm very glad this plane load of students and Indians have managed to fly back safely. And I think in a lot of ways we are deeply grateful to our Prime Minister and of course everybody involved, the Minister Jaishankar, the team at the External Affairs Ministry, the flight crew of this Air India flight, for making this possible, for bringing our children back home safely and soundly and back home to their loved ones. And this is certainly something that is a signature of our government, that we leave no Indian behind in harm's way. Stay calm, be in touch with the embassy there, because the government of India will certainly make all the efforts that are necessary to bring you back home safe and to reunite you with your families. This is something that our government has done repeatedly, will always do. Every time that an Indian finds himself in harm's way, our government will step up and do whatever is necessary to bring them back home safely.
Here are some of the visuals of men, women and little children who came back home and to the safety of their country. Take a look.
हमारे साथ इजराइल से वापस लौटे, क्या नाम है आपका?
आदित्य।
आदित्य, इजराइल में कहाँ रह रहे थे आप?
मैं हाइफा में रह रहा था।
हाइफा में। सुबह 6:30 बजे शनिवार को जब आप सोकर उठे तो क्या देखा आपने वहाँ पर? क्या
हाइफा में हालात ठीक थे, साउथ में थोड़े हालात खराब थे। हाइफा नॉर्थ में पड़ता है, तो नॉर्थ में कुछ नहीं हुआ था ऐसा।
तो डर लग रहा था जिस तरीके से इजराइल के हालात बहुत ज्यादा खराब हो रहे थे?
डर इसलिए नहीं लग रहा था क्योंकि इजराइल की डिफेंस सिस्टम काफ़ी अच्छी है, तो बाद में उन्होंने काफ़ी कंट्रोल कर लिया था और उसके बाद डर लगना बंद हो गया था जब इजराइल की डिफेंस सिस्टम एक्टिव हो गए थे।
परिवार से बात हो रही थी, वो लोग डर रहे थे?
परिवार से बात हो रही थी, वो लोग डर रहे थे। फ्रेंड्स, फैमिली, सारे लोग मैसेजेस करके पूछ रहे थे, कंसिस्टेंटली पूछ रहे थे कि क्या हालात है।
अच्छा, ये बताइए, भारत सरकार आप लोगों को रेस्क्यू करके लेके आई है, सकुशल हिंदुस्तान वापस लौटे, इस पर क्या कहेंगे?
इस पर मैं डॉक्टर जयशंकर को बहुत थैंक यू बोलना चाहूँगा क्योंकि उन्होंने सही टाइम पे स्टेप लिया, क्योंकि अभी वॉर की अनसर्टेनिटी काफ़ी ज़्यादा है और वॉर किसी भी डायरेक्शन में जा सकता है, तो सिचुएशन क्रिटिकल होने से पहले ही उन्होंने स्टेप लिया, तो उसके लिए मैं मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स को बहुत बहुत थैंकफुल हूँ।
तो जाहिर तौर पर इजराइल से वापस लौटे हैं और काफी ज्यादा धन्यवाद अदा कर रहे हैं वो भारत सरकार का, जो उन्हें सकुशल यहां इजराइल से निकाल करके लेकर आई है। 18,000 से ज्यादा भारतीय इस वक्त इजराइल में फंसे हुए हैं और ऑपरेशन अजय भारत सरकार ने शुरू किया है। जो भी लोग इजराइल में फंसे हुए हैं भारतीय, जो वापस हिंदुस्तान आना चाहते हैं, उनको लेकर के आने के लिए यह ऑपरेशन अजय शुरू किया गया। और आज पहला जो जत्था है, जो पहला रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन फ्लाइट था एयर इंडिया का, उससे 212 लोगों को सुबह लेकर के 6 बजे इजराइल से, तेल अवीव से जो इंडियन एयरलाइंस की जो फ्लाइट है वो यहां पर पहुंचे। 212 भारतीयों को रेस्क्यू करके इजराइल से फिलहाल हिंदुस्तान वापस अपने देश लाया गया है। एक और भारतीय इजराइल से वापस लौटे हैं। मैम, क्या नाम है आपका? इजराइल में कहाँ रह रही थी?
मैं बिरशेवा में।
क्या करती थी वहाँ पे आप?
मैं पोस्ट डॉक स्टूडेंट हूँ।
स्टूडेंट थी। शनिवार को सुबह 6:30 बजे जब आप सो करके उठी, सायरन बज रहे थे, तो क्या माहौल था, कितना डर लग रहा था आपको?
एक्चुअली जब सायरन बजा हम लोग को पता था कि मतलब ऐसा अगर वार्निंग साइन आता है तो शेल्टर में जाना पड़ता है। तो हम लोग के जस्ट अपार्टमेंट के नीचे ही शेल्टर है, तो हम लोग वहाँ चले गए। बट वो काफ़ी देर तक रहा, तो हम लोग थोड़ा अलार्म्ड हो गए। फिर हम लोग को न्यूज़ आने लगा कि ऐसा हुआ है। उस दिन पूरा दिन थोड़ा टेंशन का माहौल था, बट उसके बाद से मतलब हम लोग यूज्ड टू हो गए और थोड़ा सा अभी ठीक भी है माहौल। और बिरशेवा जहाँ पे मैं रहती हूँ वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा खतरा नहीं था।
लेकिन इजराइल की अगर बात करी जाए तो 3,000 से ज़्यादा लोग मर चुके हैं। युद्ध रोज़ाना काफ़ी ज़्यादा भयावह स्थिति में पहुँच रहा है। तो आपको लगा कि अब वापस हिंदुस्तान लौटना चाहिए सुरक्षित रहने के लिए?
हाँ, क्योंकि वॉर सिचुएशन है तो थोड़ा अनप्रेडिक्टेबल है, इसीलिए हम लौट गए। बट आई एम होपफुल कि वो ठीक हो जाएगा जल्दी।
डर लग रहा था? परिवार वालों से बात हो रही थी?
फर्स्ट डे हाँ डर लगा था, बट उसके बाद क्योंकि एज आई सेड कि हमारा एरिया बहुत ज़्यादा खतरे में नहीं था, तो ऑल वी हैड टू डू वाज स्टे एट होम एंड फॉलो द इंस्ट्रक्शंस।
फैमिली डर रही थी? फैमिली से बात हो रही थी?
थोड़ा डर रही थी, हाँ।
भारत सरकार अब आपको लेकर के आई है, सुरक्षित लेके आई, क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल एंड थैंकफुल एंड या आई रियली थैंक द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया।
जाहिर तौर पर तो इजराइल में रहने के दौरान इन्होंने शेल्टर हाउस में भी गए और तमाम जो युद्ध की विभीषिकाएं थी उनको इन्होंने देखा और डर लग रहा था सुरक्षित अपने वतन में हो सकती हैं, और यही सोच करके वापस हिंदुस्तान ऑपरेशन अजय के तहत लौट आई हैं। विशेष भी इजराइल से लौटे। विशेष, इजराइल में आप कहाँ पर रह रहे थे?
मैं टेल अवीव में रह रहा था।
टेल अवीव में। शनिवार को जब आप सो करके उठे, आवाज़ आ रही होगी, सायरन बज रहे होंगे, धमाकों की आवाज़ थी, क्या लगा, कितना डर लग रहा था उस वक्त आपको?
हमें समझ नहीं आया कि एकदम सायरन कैसे बज गया। कोई न्यूज़ में कोई खबर नहीं थी लड़ाई की। फिर हमने गूगल पे सर्च किया तो हमें पता लगा कि गाज़ा ने अटैक कर दिया इजराइल पे, और फिर वहाँ से सिचुएशन बढ़ी।
तो आपको फिर शेल्टर होम में जाना पड़ा। वहाँ पर आपके साथ और कितने लोग थे?
जो हर एक फ्लोर पे शेल्टर होता है और वहाँ पे 5-6 लोग होते ही हैं।
तो डर लग रहा था उस वक्त? परिवार वालों से बातचीत हो रही थी? परिवार क्या कह रहा था उस वक्त?
परिवार भी डरा हुआ था, उनको भी नहीं, वो चाहते थे कि जल्दी से जल्दी इंडिया आ जाएं और सेफ हो जाए।
आपको लगा कि हिंदुस्तान में सेफ है? इजराइल में क्योंकि हालात बहुत बिगड़ रहे हैं, शहर में कत्लेआम हो रहा है, तो आपको लगा हिंदुस्तान लौटना चाहिए?
जी।
क्या करते थे आप इजराइल में?
मैं मास्टर्स कर रहा था।
मास्टर्स कर रहे थे, तो ये भी वापस लौटे, मास्टर्स कर रहे थे, तेल अवीव में थे। जिस तरीके से युद्ध के हालात खराब हो रहे थे तो लगा कि हिंदुस्तान सुरक्षित है और इसीलिए हिंदुस्तान वापस लौटे हैं। 212 भारतीय वापस हिंदुस्तान लौटे हैं। आप भी इजराइल में फंसी हुई थी, इजराइल के कौन इलाके में थी? क्या नाम है आपका?
जी, मेरा नाम प्रियंका है।
इजराइल में किस जगह थी, आप क्या करती हैं?
हमारा जो लोकेशन था वो तेल अवीव के पास था, सेंट्रल लोकेशन था, और मैं पोस्ट डॉक्टरल फेलो हूँ बारेलान यूनिवर्सिटी के अंदर।
ये बताइए, शनिवार को जब युद्ध शुरू हुआ हमास और इजराइल के बीच में, सायरन बजने लगे, बम की आवाज़ आने लगी, तो कितना डर लग रहा था आपको? क्या महसूस हुआ उस वक्त?
तो पहले दिन जब सायरन बजे वो काफ़ी सुबह थे, तो उस वक्त काफ़ी लाइक पैनिक की सिचुएशन थी कि क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि हमें पता नहीं था कि क्यों सायरन बज रहे हैं। और हम बंकर में भाग कर गए। बहुत सारे लोगों को पता नहीं था क्या करना है, तो सारे जितने भी वहाँ पर इंडियंस है, दे स्टार्टेड नॉकिंग एट ईच अदर्स डोर कि लोगों को पता चल सके कि बाहर निकलना है, क्योंकि वो सुबह 6 बजे था और सब लोग प्रिपेयर नहीं थे। तो वो फर्स्ट डे जो था वो काफ़ी पैनिकिंग था, पर मेरा लोकेशन जो था वो सेंट्रल लोकेशन था, तो हमें ऑन एन एवरेज 2 के करीब सायरन दिन में सुनाई देते थे। तो वो थोड़ा सा पैनिक की सिचुएशन था, क्योंकि जब सायरन बजते थे आपको बफर टाइम होता है 1 मिनट के अंदर पे आपको वापस शेल्टर के अंदर पे पहुंचना है।
तो आपके साथ और कितने लोग शेल्टर में जाते थे और क्या डर लगता था जिस तरीके से हमास के लोग अंदर घुस करके कत्लेआम कर रहे थे, गोलियां चला रहे थे, किसी को भी मार रहे थे, तो डर लग रहा था जिस तरीके से न्यूज़ आप तक पहुंच रही थी?
जी, न्यूज़ जिस तरीके से आ रही थी इन्फिल्ट्रेशन की, वो ज़्यादा डरावनी थी मिसाइल के लिए, क्योंकि इजराइल के पास में हर बिल्डिंग के अंदर पे अपने शेल्टर्स होते हैं और प्रोटेक्शंस के ज़रिए होते हैं। बट इन्फिल्ट्रेशन की जब न्यूज़ आई तब लोग काफ़ी ज़्यादा पैनिक हो चुके थे, क्योंकि उनको लगा कि इन्फिल्ट्रेशन है एंड बाहर जाना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल होगा, लाइक ग्रॉसरीज के लिए या फिर थोड़ा लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस ट्रैवल करना किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत के लिए। इसलिए
फैमिली वालों से बातचीत हो रही थी आपकी और हिंदुस्तान लगा कि आपको वापस आना चाहिए तभी सुरक्षित रहेंगे?
जी, फैमिली वालों से तो हमारी बात हो रही थी और फैमिली वाले भी काफ़ी चिंतित थे इस समय पर, बट हम उन्हें समझा नहीं पा रहे थे कि हमारी सिचुएशन वहाँ पर क्या है, क्योंकि अगर हम बोलेंगे तो वो और भी ज़्यादा पैनिक होंगे। बट हमारे लिए सिचुएशन कंपैरेटिवली काफ़ी अच्छी थी, क्योंकि हम सेंटर पे थे, बट साउथ में जो हमारे फ्रेंड्स थे, स्टूडेंट्स थे, उन लोग काफ़ी ज़्यादा अफेक्टेड हुए ये सब चीज़ों की वजह से।
जाहिर तौर पर तो अब हिंदुस्तान लौटने के बाद काफ़ी खुश हैं और कहीं ना कहीं जिस तरीके से बयान कर रही हैं कि इजराइल में हालात कितने ज़्यादा ख़राब हैं, हर तरफ जो इन्फिल्ट्रेशन हो रहा था वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा डरावना था और इसीलिए शेल्टर होम में जाकर के अपनी जान बचानी पड़ रही थी, लेकिन अब सकुशल अपने वतन वापस हिंदुस्तान लौट आए हैं।
Of the developments in Israel, as announced by External Affairs Minister yesterday, Operation Ajay has been launched to facilitate the return from Israel of our citizens who wish to come back. The first charter flight will be reaching Tel Aviv later tonight to pick up the Indian citizens and is likely to return to India tomorrow morning. We will share with you information about further flights as they are finalized. This is still an evolving situation. You are aware, External Affairs Minister took a preparatory meeting earlier in the day. We're also in touch with our, of course, with our embassy in Tel Aviv, our representative office in Ramallah, as well as with our neighboring, the missions in our neighboring, in the neighboring countries there.
भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, भारत माता की जय, जय।
You know, there are several situations in our lives when language really does not matter. I know that I'm a South Indian and a lot of you must be wondering, what is Hindi doing here? Of course, Hindi is our language as well. But Bharat Mata Ki Jai and Vande Mataram, I'm sure all of you understood, and also those happy faces. And now, like I had promised, every day we shall bring you some kind of news from Telangana, which is going to elections on 30th of November. Wait up. There are several issues in this time's elections. Of course, anti-incumbency facing K. Chandrasekhar Rao, or KCR as is popularly known. What is the BJP up to? There is internal fighting, and the Congress, which is still struggling actually to release the list of candidates. There are lots and lots of issues. Today, it's a unique problem, and I'll tell you what it is. Now, in the recent clamour for conducting caste census across many states, Bihar came out and almost took away the first place as the first to walk the talk. However, so far as the South is concerned, even as Karnataka is awaiting last-minute changes to the survey, Telangana had conducted the Samagra Kutumba survey, or a census based on caste, way back in 2014 when the state came into existence. Although it wasn't a detailed study, but there were important pointers. Right at the top were the backward caste or BCs at 51% and the scheduled tribe at 9.88%. During this election, there is an open attempt now, ladies and gentlemen, by all political parties to appease the tribals in the state. And the reason is obvious. An entire bloc ensures a party that much gravitas. So, every political party is trying to attract the tribals. Moreover, there are 12 assembly seats and 2 MP seats reserved for ST candidates in Telangana. Now, the tribal population in Telangana underwent a change. It was said to be 6% in undivided Telugu-speaking region, that's what experts say, or what was in Andhra Pradesh, but went up to 10% when Telangana came into being in 2014. Therefore, the mad clamour and now all parties focus on extending 10% quota to tribals in the state. The BJP promised 10% reservation for tribals in education, jobs and local body elections if voted to power in the state. Union Minister of Tourism and State BJP President G. Kishan Reddy announced this while he was on a visit to Medaram in Mulugu district to offer prayers to the tribal deities of Samakka and Sarakka.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के लिए भी मैं रिक्वेस्ट किया हूं, जरूर मेरा पूरा विश्वास है आने वाले दिन में और ट्राइबल समाज के विकास के लिए नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में अच्छे काम करेंगे। आपको मालूम है, आज एक ट्राइबल माता, एक ट्राइबल महिला देश का राष्ट्रपति पहली बार बने हैं। वैसा ही भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार पहले ही ट्राइबल मिनिस्ट्री बनाया, नेशनल ट्राइबल कमीशन बनाया। वैसा इस एरिया में टूरिज्म विकास के लिए, ट्राइबल्स को एम्प्लॉयमेंट देने के लिए भारत सरकार अलग अलग पर्यटक क्षेत्रों को विकास किया है। आज ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी इस प्रांत में आने के कारण मेरे को पूरा विश्वास है इस प्रांतों में एजुकेशन में बढ़ावा मिलेगा, एम्प्लॉयमेंट में बढ़ावा मिलेगा और इंडस्ट्रीज, अदर टूरिज्म एक्टिविटी भी आगे बढ़ेगा। उसके साथ साथ ट्राइबल्स को जो फॉरेस्ट है, उस फॉरेस्ट विकास के भी इस यूनिवर्सिटी के द्वारा आने वाले दिन में बहुत इस एरिया को लाभ मिलेगा।
During the last elections in 2018, it was the Congress which actually did wonderfully well and in most of the seats in the tribal belt in Telangana. Now, so far as the BJP's attempt goes, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced the establishment of a central tribal university in the state named after Samakka and Sarakka at the cost of rupees 900 crores.
भारत सरकार मुलुगु जिले में एक सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी की स्थापना करने जा रहा है। और इस विद्यालय का नाम पूजनीय आदिवासी देवियां समक्का सारक्का के नाम पर रखा जाएगा। समक्का सारक्का सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी, इस पर 900 करोड़ रुपया खर्च किए जाएंगे। मैं तेलंगाना के लोगों को इस सेंट्रल ट्राइबल यूनिवर्सिटी के लिए बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं।
Like I said, most parties, almost all, that is BRS, BJP and the Congress, are concentrating and wanting, rather demanding 10% for the tribals. Now, almost a year ago, the Bharat Rashtra Samiti or BRS government led by Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao or KCR had also issued a notification for increasing the ST, that is scheduled tribes quota, from 6% to 10% in the state. But the moot point, ladies and gentlemen, is increasing the ST quota would breach the current 50% reservation ceiling for the SCs, that is scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and OBCs, which is other backward classes, set by the Supreme Court, and cannot actually officially be implemented without possibly enacting a constitutional amendment which requires the centre's approval. Yes, the state can make changes under special provisions, circumstances, but what is the real intent behind this 10% quota for tribals? Is it, like I said right at the beginning of this conversation, is it to just focus and perhaps garner votes from an entire bloc, or is it something else? Let's debate. Joining me on the debate is A. Sai Shekhar, senior journalist and political analyst, Mr. Dharam Gurva Reddy will join us in a bit. Senior leader of the BJP, Shyam Prasad Meka, who is the spokesperson for the Congress party, has also joined us. That's about it. 3 experts, all of them from Telangana and who know the state like the back of their palm. So, I am very happy. I think we are going to have a wonderful conversation, as it were. First question goes to Sai Shekhar. Sai Shekhar, you know, we can talk about several schemes that the KCR government, the BRS government has initiated, and for different caste composition, if you look at it, even for tribals, we know what all has he announced. But I want to ask you that what is the intent? According to some experts, because he is facing anti-incumbency, it is very clear that, you know, some of them are even predicting that the Congress will have a very smooth flow in Telangana. I don't stick my neck out because we've all experienced this side, you and I, all of us. Remember, we are, you know, so we all, I mean, I would like to. But then, do you think they're saying that BRS or rather KCR Garu's special focus on the tribals is to see that he at least gets their votes as an entire block? Please unmute, Sai. Sai, unmute. No, you are not audible.
Ha. Am I audible now?
Yes.
So, KCR has been focusing on these reservations based on the population from the beginning. He actually, you know, had the assembly resolved to enhance the tribal reservations to 10% in April 2017. Similarly, he has he has made the assembly resolution enhancing the minority reservations to 12%. And he has sent the bill to the presidential assent to the president, and it has since been lying with the president so far. And in 2022, he has issued a notification enhancing the reservations of scheduled tribes to 10%. But as you have pointed out in your introduction, there is a cap of 50% limited by the Supreme Court of India. And this has to be revised by the Act of Parliament, which is still pending. And with regard to setting up of a tribal university, there has been a consistent demand from the BRS government for a long time. And finally, it bore fruit when the Prime Minister, even the BJP also has focused on tribal vote bank. And the Prime Minister recently announced that Samakka Sarakka University would be set up in Mulgu with about 900 crores. So KCR's focus, and KCR has actually made a long speech on the floor of the assembly demanding the power for state governments to amend the reservation rule based on the population, because the population ratio plays a very crucial role in that, and after the division of the state, the population composition also has changed. So for that reason, the BRS government has identified the population of scheduled tribes, and as you have also said that the household survey has indicated the spike in numbers of scheduled tribes and also minorities. The state government has promulgated initially and then, you know, brought in a piece of legislation which has to be approved by the President of India.
Yeah, but then, you know, Sai, he's also done Kalyana Lakshmi, you know, PVTG schemes. There are several schemes for tribal girls, for students. Of course,
Kalyana Lakshmi is for all women. It's
all
not,
women, but also tribal women. I am only focusing on what kind of benefits. I mean, that is creating some kind of equality also, no? Whether it is Shadi Mubarak or Kalyana Lakshmi for a tribal girl child, I mean, young woman, as well as for someone who is from the forward caste, backward caste. It is just about equality, you know. So you get an opportunity, and it is very special in the South, you know, when you do Kalyana Lakshmi, or whether you do Shadi Mubarak. For us, it's very important. He's also done for education, you know, PVTG schemes are there, you know. My point is, yes, there is a cap, Sai. But the thing is that why wasn't it pushed through? What has the BRS government done to push it through? Because, correct me if I am wrong, the Supreme Court, it is very clear, they say under certain special things, the state can actually push for it. I am only asking for, is it an election gimmick again? I mean, you had so much time. What did you do?
No, that the resolution was forwarded to the President of India in 2017 itself, and the presidential assent is mandatory for it to become an act here,
right,
in this particular case. So to deviate the 50% cap also, to breach that, the presidential assent is mandatory, which is like, again, the government of India's prerogative, and it has not been done there. That is why it was stuck.
Yeah, otherwise, but now with our president being a lady tribal, woman, yeah, one is very proud of that. I think, I am only saying, yes, one thing, that when elections, it's a cliche, no, Sai, that when the elections come, all the babus arrive. Otherwise, they all disappear. I am just trying to break that. It's not like that.
For Medaram festival of Samakka and Saraka also, that is declared by this Telangana government as a state festival. So, and state government organizes that festival ever since BRS came to power.
Right, okay.
So, they have been making that genuine effort.
Right. Dharma Gurva Reddy is also joined us, but before that, let me go to Shyam Prasad Meka, who joined us initially. Mr. Reddy, welcome to the show, sir. I'll just come to you. Shyam Prasad Meka. Shyam, I want to ask you that, what we are hearing is that there is a delay in your party, releasing the list, because this is exactly the kind of conundrum that they are all going through. About BCs, about tribals. I want to ask you, what is this sudden kind of interest, not only amongst other parties, all of you are equals in this, but amongst the Congress? Because, the thing is that a lot of BC leaders, for instance, in Telangana have been complaining that they are not making up their mind, they are delaying, outsiders have been given the preference, etc., etc. But according to you, your assessment, Shyam, what is it that, that the 10% quota demand, why has it suddenly become a clarion call? Is it an election gimmick? What is it?
No, see, as far as Congress party is concerned, Sudha, we are consistent. We are not asking for any bits and pieces. We want the cost-based socio-economic survey of the country so that we can address the issues in a comprehensive manner. So when you look at it from that demand of the Congress, you can see everything is consistent. Okay, tickets getting delayed, that's the political reasons. That doesn't have anything to do with this specific issue. But in general, yes, Congress party, when you look at it from historical perspective, recently there is a growth and strengthening of the social justice voices within Congress. And that's what is happening in Congress, and Congress party itself is trying to find its feet on the right balance.
Let me now go to Mr. Reddy. Mr. Reddy, a lot of schemes from your, your party. We heard recently what Mr. D. Kishan Reddy said, and also what the Prime Minister said about Saraka and the other universities, about, how 900 crores will be given to these universities. But the point of the matter is that, this is clearly a strategy for 2024, because it doesn't seem that this demand is going to be come to fruition, sooner. So therefore, because it requires an amendment, it requires the ratification by the president. So clearly an election gimmick. Would you agree?
It's not an election gimmick. You would not agree on that. See, aspiring for reforms and aspiring for development of downtrodden has been the forte of, Narendra Modi's government. If you look at the last 9.5 years of governance and the kind of reforms and economic reforms that have been introduced so far, it's been a great stuff. Narendra Modi's government has been performing very well. We reached number 3, spot in the economical zone. So I would like to reach on one point. Important aspect is that Antyodaya is the motive of the philosophy foundation of Bharatiya Janata Party's basic foundation. So they're reaching out to the common man at the lowest point, and wherever it is, whether it is the tribes or the SCSTs or whether it is the other sects who are financially and otherwise socially backward and downtrodden. So the Modi's government has been uplifting in every possible way, and this tribal announcing the tribal university is an aspiration and hope that's supposed to be given to the youth across the nation. And then the area where this tribal university is situated is going to be situated and built up is surrounded by lakhs of ST youth who require some kind of hope and future that need to be connected with the global opportunity that is coming around the world, because India has now become global. I would say Bharat has become global, and we need to prepare the upcoming new generations to compete and to be compatible with the global standards that are required in terms of education, skill development, in terms of producing the talent that the globe might require in tomorrow's world. Technology is changing, opportunities are changing. So it's not just one university that this Modi's government has given, and whether there are elections or not, we've been actually starting a lot of universities and colleges, medical colleges. The medical education has been reformed. The school education has been reformed. Universities have been, a number of universities added. So it's the process, part and parcel process of the Modi's government. That is just one aspect of the education side that we want to help the town.
Yeah, but it's not. No. I do understand what you're saying, Mr. Reddy, but everyone is also astute enough to understand that how, if you extend benefits for the tribals, then also you make some kind of a noise in Maharashtra, in Karnataka, and in other areas where the tribal population is indeed very strong. KCR has been concentrating on that in a major fashion. Also in Madhya Pradesh, I mean, if you look at it. So it's not just, I mean, it looks very gimmicky because the voices, there is a loud kind of an announcement for this. And I think that it's a cliche, doing politics over tribal rights. Yesterday I spoke to you. You said that your family was in, in farming of turmeric. So I think that doing politics over farmers and tribals is something which costs political parties a lot. I'll come back to Mr. Reddy. I'll come back to you. Thank you for your patience, sir. Sai, I want to ask you. During one of his visits, he was KCR was speaking about the long pending distribution of land pattas. That was long pending, and he said when he went to Asifabad district, I mean, if you may recall, he said the beneficiary will be covered under the Raitu Bandhu scheme and will receive 5,000 rupees per acre and per crop season, which will go into their bank accounts. Nothing happened. It's been delayed. Happening. No, but why the delay, Sai? Why the delay? It's happening, okay, but there has been a delay.
Because there was a problem with the Podu lands. Podu lands located in the tribal areas. So that glitch was removed by the government. Government had to struggle a lot to get it removed, and then through a piece of legislation they could do that. And they, as soon as the decks are cleared, they could immediately swing into action and bring in this Raitu Bandhu, extending Raitu Bandhu scheme and other benefits to the farmers in the tribal areas. So another advantage the KCR government would enjoy with the tribals is that they were very concertedly made an effort, and they could successfully implement this Podu land thing and get farmers of tribal communities to reap the benefits on a par with any other
sure, but the thing is, it's about delay, it's about denials, and therefore I think it's an election gimmick, and I am including every party.
No, it is not. No, Sudha, I want to tell you, it has not been done today. It has not been done in the last 3-4 months. It has been done well in advance after clearing the decks that have been, preventing the distribution of equal treatment to the tribal farmers. So that has been through a piece of legislation they could do that.
All right. Let me go to Shyam Prasad Meka. Shyam Prasad, you said that the Congress has been very consistent, but once again, I'll bring back the focus on 10% quota for scheduled tribes in Telangana, and every party it's like an echo chamber. Everyone is sounding like the other. I want to ask you, that at the end of the day, the Congress also stands. I have heard a lot of speeches from whether it's Mallikarjun Kharge ji, whether Rahul ji, all of them. They've all spoken about that it is not just enough to announce schemes. What is most important is the delivering of it, right? For instance, the 5 guarantees in Karnataka. I want to ask you one question. What are the plans that the Congress party has in so far as the tribals are concerned? If you can just enumerate 1 or 2. Also, I want to bring your focus on recognition of forest rights, you know, that ROFR pattas to tribals. What about, it's a very important issue that no party should be ignoring, Shyam. I hope you will concur with me.
Yeah, I agree with you, Sudha. See, first point, what we need to understand is BJP tried to amend Land Acquisition Act just to have a grab of the tribal lands for their industrial friends. Through people's movements, we were able to hold that for now. See what is happening in this country, we need to understand. That is what the new Congress party is speaking. I wouldn't say Congress party. Always, the new Congress party has realized that the symbolism of having some MLAs, MPs is not working out. What we need is, for all these sections, we need democratization of the public spaces. We need every section to be represented in the places where decisions are made. That is how we will really, really empower every section of the people. What will you get if you have some, say, 10, 20 more tribal MLAs? MLA will be, at the end of the day, will need to toe the party line, party which is driven by the dominant thinking. What will this MLA do? What will 10 more women MLAs will do? When the party's decision making bodies doesn't have women representation or a tribal representation,
right?
What will these sections do? That is the comprehensive way in which the new Congress party under Kharge ji and Rahul Gandhi's leadership, that is what we are going at. And I think we found the right way. And I think that this is going to help the country and also the entire political system to change their mindset.
Right. Mr. Reddy, it is not enough, of course, you know, announcement of universities, announcing of, you know, special benefits for tribals. All this really works, and we've heard it ad nauseum. You know, I mean, time and again, we all know the condition of tribals in this country. The thing is, just by giving them reservation is almost dog whistling, according to me, unless or until it reaches their doorstep. I want to ask you one very crucial question about Telangana. What about the Lambadas? You know, there is a constant conflict between Lambadas, you know, who are also known as Banjaras, over share of government benefits with Adivasis. The Adivasis claim, you know, that the Lambadas do not qualify as scheduled tribe because of the process of their inclusion in the ST list in 1976, you know, which was incomplete. I want to ask you that so far as this is concerned, what are the plans of the BJP? How are you going to resolve this? These are basic problems when it comes to looking at the tribals as a whole or en bloc in Telangana. I think Mr. Reddy's frame has frozen. I shall wait for his response. Will you, Sai, could you please take this question about the conflict between Lambadas, or unmute yourself, Sai, between Lambadas, also known as Banjaras. You know, there is a constant conflict between them and the Adivasis. You know, the Adivasis claim that the Lambadas do not deserve any kind of benefit under the scheduled tribes because of the process of inclusion in 1976 was apparently incomplete. You know, so I am asking you that whether it comes to government benefits or education, these kind of problems need to be solved in Telangana first, instead of just going after, I will give you 10%, because, you know, after undivided, after Telangana was formed, from 6 it has increased to 10%, etc., etc. This is a problem, no, Sai, for the benefit of the viewers, the problems between Lambadas or Banjaras and Adivasis. It's a constant tussle.
So I would like to put across something straight here. It's not exclusive to Telangana. Everywhere there are groups among the tribals, among the scheduled castes. In fact, there has been a demand for, you know, special reservation for Madigas in scheduled castes. They have been agitating for several years. Similar demand has come from Adivasis, because they think, Lambadas or Banjaras are, royal families within the tribal communities, and they don't deserve to be included in this. But then governments have clearly been examining this issue, and it has to be a judicial process. A judicial commission has to be constituted by the government of India, and then they can only look into this process, and then they have to make a recommendation to the President of India, to the state government, central government, and then the governments have to enact pieces of legislation and then go to the President of India. And it has been a contentious issue.
Right.
It is not invented by BRS government, or it is not,
not
exclusive to Telangana.
Not at all, not at all. But it is an issue when we look at tribals as a community. Oh, okay, Sai, let me also ask you, when you are talking about those who are marginalized and who need affirmative action, what happened to the Dalit CM promise, Sai? And what about the acres of land to Dalits?
See, these promises were made by Telangana Rashtra Samiti in 2014 election, and they have not been implementing this. And which chief will, let us be frank, if I am getting my party elected, I don't think I will budge and vacate the seat and give it to someone else.
Then why announce
it? Won't work like that.
Why do you announce
people have voted? Listen, Sudha. People have voted for the TRS in 2018 and also 2014 by seeing the face of the Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, thinking that he would be the Chief Minister. So it's a passe now. It's all done and dusted. That both the things which you have raised.
It may be, I have got 2 minutes left, it may be done and dusted, but it is a question of trust. I think there is a trust deficit when that happens. I will not announce that, you come here, you become the South Indian and anchor this. Why should I? I love doing this show. Then I will not make the announcement. No, the thing is, it's about trust. If I keep saying, guys, I am leaving the show, people will never take me seriously. This is a crucial election for KCR Garu. No, if he makes it, we are all happy as South Indians. Hat trick. If he doesn't do it, then this will be one of the reasons. Shyam, do you agree that there could be trust deficit when it comes to this? You cannot, a chief minister who occupies such an important chair cannot be making such statements, Shyam Prasad Mika.
What Sai Shekhar Garu is trying to say very simply is, hey, forget about everything that we spoke as TRS, now we are BRS. Now we are BRS.
Right.
That's what he is saying.
Right, right. Yeah, okay. And Shyam, tell me quickly that the Congress party in its manifesto, will the 10% reservation for STs form a very important part of your manifesto? You have already announced guarantees, but will this be an integral part of your manifesto or not? You have to unmute, Shyam.
No, I'm...
Yeah, I can hear you
okay.
now.
Yeah, our manifesto will definitely have the socio-economic cost survey, and based on that, having the development model. That's definitely going to be part of our manifesto. Any specific things I cannot say at present, but having the rights of Jal, Jameen, Jungle for the tribals, that's what Congress party is committed, and definitely that's going to be part of the manifesto.
With that, I have, Mr. Reddy's connection has again gone off, and I hope he was with us. But then thank you very much, Shyam Prasad, thank you, Sai Shekhar, and of course, Mr. Reddy, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast. Like I said, every day there shall be a special focus on Telangana, considering that the state is going to elections on 30th of November, and on 3rd of December, the results will be announced. Today, the gimmick is about giving 10% reservation to the tribals of Telangana en bloc. Well, you talk to them about schemes, they have no clue, but they said the reservations will be given. We will bring you more election gimmicks like that. Until then, the South Indian says, Namaste, Vanakkam.
इंजीनियरिंग कर रहे हैं, जो कि सभी लोग कर रहे हैं।
Coaching is now starting from grade 3, 4, 5, 6.
कोटा जाने वाली बीच राह में आधे टेस्ट देके हैं सिलेक्शन की चाह में।
ऑल इंडिया का बच्चा कोटा जाता है।
This rat race is for rats, not for humans. So why should we even be a part of it?
The Rat Race. This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
Three years after the deadly Galwan clashes, India has doubled the pace of infrastructure creation on the border. India's Border Road Organization is accomplishing mission impossible, creating infrastructure to secure us from our foes across the Himalayas.
Look at China. They don't have to climb up like us. Once they are on the Tibetan plateau, the construction work, the maintenance work, everything is fairly easy.
On India's 77th Independence Day, an all-women unit of Border Roads organization led by Colonel Ponung Dobing inaugurated the world's highest motorable road. Ladakh is strategically important for India. It is the only place where the Indian Army faces both its adversaries. Ladakh is a high-altitude desert. Temperatures of -20 to -30 degrees and low oxygen levels here make survival tough. Being stationed in the sensitive eastern Ladakh sector is a tough but prestigious assignment. It is a matter of national pride that infrastructure development along the LAC is being looked after by the daughters of India. In such challenging circumstances, 3 stars twinkle the brightest here. They are the women officers of the highest border roads task force in the world.
All the BRTF, whether it's gentlemen or women, this is the highest BRTF in BR.
We have got the opportunity, and it's the challenges that boosting us up to work in such a place.
उनको भरोसा है कि हम लोग कर लेंगे.
Right now we are sitting at above 15,000 feet above mean sea level. My BRTF is 755 BRTF. My BRTF approximately handling construction of approximately 201 kilometer roads, new roads, maintenance of 205 kilometer roads, as I told you, and construction of 4 important bridges connecting Hanle to the remote villages. Very important is Neoma LG, which will be, once constructed, highest airfield in the world.
So in terms of the experience, till now it's been just 1 month. The working situation here is a bit tough. During the summer, it's okay, but during the winter, it's very tough here, which I haven't experienced yet. I have to experience, but the temperature goes down below minus degree.
नेशन के हिसाब से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स है जो हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं जिन पे उनको भरोसा है कि हम लोग कर लेंगे मतलब वुमेन कर सकते हैं इसलिए हमें दिया गया है
Earlier, women